The Rams have reportedly spent considerable time with his projected first-round QB prospect. Who is it, and should they draft him? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, subscribe to Locked On Rams YouTube channel, join the party, getting close to 17,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Also, drop all of your pre-draft Rams takes down below. What do you want to see them do with that first round pick? My name is Doug McCain. Friends call me DMAC. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I've been covering LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. The People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers. He'll be back tomorrow, but we've got a jam-packed show. We are diving into the latest Rams draft buzz. We'll do another 7-round mock draft. Also, a hilarious story from Puka Nacua. But first, let's start with that draft buzz. There was a report that came out today from ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter that says that the Rams have spent considerable time during the interview process with the Giants, Saints, and Rams. Adam Schefter, he tweeted sources. Ole Miss QB Jaxson Dart visited today with the Cleveland Browns and will next fly to Las Vegas to visit with the Raiders, sources tell me, and Fielding Yates. Dart also has spent considerable time during this interview process with the Giants, Saints, and Rams. So we have known this for a little while now, that the Rams have had some interest in Jaxson Dart. And I can tell you from my sources that they do as well. Sean McVay and this organization, they do like him as a prospect. And Les Snead has already said at the NFL GM meetings that they would not be afraid to draft a quarterback, and you always want to consider drafting a quarterback because the truth of the matter is in the National Football League, if you want to get an elite quarterback, you have to most likely find them in the draft. They usually don't become available in free agency. It's rare that they get traded. The guys that are available aren't these superstars. I mean, it's the Sam Darnolds of the world, guys like that, right? Guys that you don't necessarily view as, oh, these are surefire franchise Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. The Rams, quite frankly, got lucky that they were able to get that deal done for Matthew Stafford. That a quarterback like Matthew Stafford was in a bad situation in Detroit. Detroit was willing to move on and try to reset their franchise with Jared Goff and a bunch of high draft picks. That does not happen very often. So knowing that and knowing that as great as Matthew Stafford is and as happy as Rams fans are and this organization is that he renewed his vows with the Rams this offseason, that this could still be his last year in the Horns, that there are no guarantees that he plays after next season. And that's just for the simple fact that you look at his age, you look at where he's at in his career, but most importantly, it's the contract situation that no matter what, even if Matthew Stafford has a great year for the Rams in 2025, that the two sides are going to have to get back to the negotiating table to get a new deal done for him to continue his career with the Rams. So both parties have a ability to get out of that deal if they want to. So that tells you that the Rams could be in a position to need a quarterback. And if you were to pursue someone like a Jaxson Dart, he could learn under Matthew Stafford. He could learn under Jimmy Garoppolo and Sean McVay, and this great Rams organization can kind of thrust him into being that guy in the future. But I think the big question for me is Jaxson Dart good enough? Does he have high enough upside to the point where you say, instead of using that number 26 pick to select a player that can help us win in 2025, knowing that your Super Bowl window has been pried open once again because Stafford's back, because you brought in Devontae Adams, because you have all this emerging talent on defense, that, hey, might as well go for broke in 2025 And who knows? Could you pick up a dynamic tight end like a Colson Loveland? Could you pick up they need a corner. They need an offensive tackle potentially as a replacement for Rob Havenstein in the future. It's another future position that could provide depth next season. So those are questions you have to ask if you're the Rams before you select Jaxson Dart. But I think it comes down to the main thing is if you believe as an organization that Jaxson Dart can be your 10-plus year starter and give this organization the chance to win a Super Bowl, and you love him enough based on the interview process, what you've seen on tape, the potential that he has, and just your gut instinct, then that changes everything. If the Rams love Jaxson Dart and think that he's the guy that could potentially win a Super Bowl for this team in the future, then that changes everything. And that's something we just don't know. I can tell you they like him, but do they love him, right? Now, let's kind of dive deeper into Jaxson Dart as a prospect. He's 21 years old. He's 6'2", 225 pounds. He started his career at USC. All my Southern California Trojan fans here in LA, across the nation, you guys know Jaxson Dart because he was a highly touted recruit. Jaxson Dart was a recruit that we talked about in Southern California for quite some time because of just kind of the hype that was surrounding him. I mean, he wasn't that five-star guy, but yeah, he certainly was that four-star guy. He was a four-star as a prospect. And you look at the size, like I said, 6'2", 225, doesn't blow you away with his measurables there. But I think for Dart, his stock has risen because of the production at the college level. He went 10-3, was the first team All-SEC quarterback in a tough conference. And you just look at some of the reasons why he did have success. And this can either make you love him or think, wait a minute, is his success predicated on the system that he's in, the talent around him, the offensive coordinator playing under Lane Kiffin? Well, his success in college, a lot of it had to do with his ability to be a distributor, to be that point guard of the Ole Miss option, of the Ole Miss offense, to kind of go to that first option, make those first reads, exploit defenses and coverages, and he did a great job of doing that. He had a 94.3 clean pocket PFF grade. That was second in the FBS. So the accuracy, the ability to execute with a clean pocket, but also if he did not have a clean pocket, he was very decisive and he could identify and exploit the coverages where he knew where to go with the football. That's why his under pressure PFF grade, it was one of the best in the sport last year at the college level. So this is someone who can get the ball out to that first read, and he's really good at doing that. And he understands that, okay, to make that happen, I can't just go out there and be a one-speed type of thrower, right? I think one of the things that is the knock on young quarterbacks is they throw at the same velocity. It's either 100 miles per hour, or it's something below that, right? It's the fastball, things like that. But for him, he knows how to mix things up. He knows how to put some touch on his throws, whether it be a short, intermediate route, or a deep ball. And last year, he had, on throws that were from 5 and 25 yards, he had the highest accuracy percentage in the country and the fourth lowest uncatchable accuracy rate in the country. So that tells you that from 5 to 25 yards, he can get the ball out, it can be accurate, and he doesn't throw uncatchable balls. So from that standpoint, you love him in his ability to do the things that made him successful. And he didn't necessarily go out of his skill set. I think you look at some of those numbers, 11.9 average depth of target, a 7.1% big time throw rate, a 10.7 yards per attempt. Those all were more than Cam Ward and Jador Sanders. And you look at the 2.77 seconds to throw, that was the lowest in the nation. But was that because he had less time, or was that because he wasn't going through his progressions? That's something to consider as well. I mean, I think for me, I like Jaxson Dart. I really, really do. I wouldn't say I necessarily love Jaxson Dart. I think that it would be an interesting pick for me just because I don't necessarily think he's going to be a superstar. I think he has a chance, if everything breaks right, to be a star. I mean, I think that the big question for me is the ability in the NFL to go through those progressions every single snap and have success with your second and third reads. He had a 92.9 PFF passing grade on his first read. His second read or more was at 60.3. That was 63rd in the country. So those are things that I kind of wonder about for him. Is he that complete quarterback at the next level? And the other thing, too, is just kind of the elite stuff. I mean, you see franchise quarterbacks, right? Mahomes and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and these guys. I mean, they all have things you can point to that say, what they do best is so much better than the average quarterback. Lamar Jackson's running. Josh Allen's throwing and running, quite frankly. Patrick Mahomes is throwing and improvisation and able to extend plays. I mean, there's these elite traits that these guys have, and Jaxson Dart really hasn't shown an elite trait at the college level, where it's mind-blowing arm talent, where it's mind-blowing speed, where it's ability to improvise. He can do all those things at a good level, but not at a great elite level at the next level, in my opinion. I mean, you've seen flashes for sure, but at the next level, will that be unlocked is kind of my big question. So for me, I'm still of the camp. I'm trying to kind of plant my flag here that I would get a win now piece. Because I just don't know that. Look, Jaxson Dart's a really good quarterback, and if they take him, hey, the Rams love him. That's awesome, and I'd be willing to live with it. But if you draft Jaxson Dart and next season comes along and it feels like the Rams are missing a piece and they fall short, that's something that I would not want to live with, because what we do know is Matthew Stafford, he is elite. Look, you talk about those elite traits. The way Matthew Stafford throws the football, generational, all-time, top 10 level stuff, okay? And he was doing that at Georgia. He was doing that in his first year. A lot of the stuff you don't just see. It's like you kind of are what you are for the elite flashes. So that's where I'm at on Jaxson Dart. Wouldn't hate it, wouldn't love it either. Would accept it, though, because it is the Los Angeles Rams, and they have the proof of concept, and that is winning Lombardi trophies. But coming up next, we're going to continue on our 7-round mock draft. We're going to go through this one quickly, and then we are going to give you a funny story about Puka Nacua. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Where are my Laker fans at? No one wants to play the purple and gold in the playoffs. Luka Doncic, LeBron, Austin Reeves cannot wait for the NBA playoffs. And right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy. Whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, a special shout out to those everyday listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode. You know who you are. And if you're new to the pod, new to the YouTube channel, definitely join that Everyday Listeners Club. The Rams have been the talk of the offseason, and they've been great in the draft the last 2 years. And Super Bowls are built in the offseason, free agency, in the draft. So you want to make sure you're locked all the way in on the Rams, because when the season starts, that journey is going to be epic. So be sure to join that Everyday Listeners Club. So let's jump into this 7-round mock draft. And like I said, this is not my mock draft. This is reacting to one. And this is, we use the Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator. So the mock draft simulator to give you an idea what they think that the Rams will do. And it's funny to me because they have the Rams moving back from 26. They have them trading off of the number 26 pick, getting more picks later in this draft. And basically, I think what we've seen with Les Snead is he's always going to consider trading down, because the gap between the first couple picks this year, it's close, right? And so they're always going to look at that and be opportunistic with that. But this is who they have the Rams taken at the 38th pick, and that is Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. So the Rams, they trade the number 26 and 101st pick to the Patriots for number 38, 69, and 77. So that definitely feels very Rams-like. And Amos, he's someone that he's big. He's 6'1". He can play on the outside. He can match up against bigger receivers. He also has had a lot of success in zone coverage, the ball skills, the instincts. 3 interceptions on 62 targets. He allowed just 32 catches all year last year for Ole Miss. I just really like the size, the speed of 4.4, 340, and he's projected to be a mid to late second round pick, but his stock is going up. His stock is definitely going up. And it'll be interesting to see if he goes higher than he's projected right now. I think he's a sneaky pick to go a little higher. Then at 69, a lot of Ole Miss players today. Wide receiver Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. So they're going back to another Ole Miss running rebel there. He's 6'3". He has good speed, not elite speed. He's contested catch warrior, great leaping ability. He's a guy that is 100% an X guy you'll see on the outside. You got Adams, you got Puka Nacua, so you can play in the slot too. So that'd be pretty interesting to see the kind of fit that they would have with a guy like that. 77, offensive tackle Anthony Belton, NC State. So the Rams, they're definitely in need of a tackle for the future. Belton is not the elite ones we've talked about so far on this show, the Josh Connerly types, but he allowed 8 sacks in his last 3 years, just 12 pressures in 2024. And you can learn under Rob Havenstein. He can be your mentor, and then you can take your crack at taking over the position in 2026. So I do like the idea of if you take a tackle later, you're not as pressured as putting him in earlier than he should be, or you don't get that feeling like, oh, should we have taken a more plug-and-play day one starter type of guy. So Anthony Belton, definitely kind of a sneaky good pick. I mean, he played mainly left tackle for the last 3 years, but he can play on the right side as well. So keep your eyes on that name, Anthony Belton at NC State. Then at 90, a tight end, Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green. So he's kind of a smaller type of tight end. He's not that huge, but production, 117 catches, 1,555 yards, 10 touchdowns at Bowling Green. And, I mean, 6'3", so he's not short at all. But, I mean, he's not like monster size. But his size and measurables are very similar to Gerald Green. I mean, he's 241 pounds, just a little lighter. So McVay, I mean, we know what he can do with a tight end that's dynamic, has some versatility. So Harold Fannin Jr. is pretty interesting. A smaller college, not one of those premier programs, so could kind of fly under the radar. Then at pick 127, running back Brashard Smith out of SMU. This is interesting to me because of the 40 time. A 4.39 40. He's a former receiver who transitioned to running back. He has the ability to catch passes out of the backfield. I think that if you're going to take a running back this time around, it's not about taking a Blake Corum that can fill in if Kyron Williams gets injured. It's about taking a running back that can give you a different dynamic, that can complement, that can help Kyron Williams a little bit and make this offense more explosive. So, yeah, that's interesting. I like that pick. 190, so this one is going to be interesting considering the first topic. 190, quarterback Kyle McCord at Syracuse. So, Kyle McCord, interesting journey. He was at Ohio State, and that's a very tough place to play. I remember Ohio State fans calling him Honda McCord because they were not happy with his. By the way, Honda Accord's a great car, so I don't know why that would even be considered an insult because I love that was my first car. I love me a Honda Accord. My grandma gave it to me, but yeah. McCord absolutely turned his career around in Syracuse. He absolutely did. I mean, a pro-style offense. The numbers are eye-popping. So I like it because if you can get him in the 6th round, I mean, he can sling it. He really can. 195, you got linebacker Small Mondon Jr. from Georgia. If you get this guy at 195, I would love this. I mean, I think he reminds me in some ways of Omar Speights, who is that style of linebacker that just eats against the run game. Not amazing in pass coverage, but I think that the raw talent there, the Georgia pedigree there, I think that could be a very sneaky high upside pick at 195. Then 201, defensive lineman Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. So, I mean, look, I think that the lineman position, especially on the defensive side, is becoming a point in time where you can never have enough of them. I mean, they're lottery tickets, and the more you hit on, the better you are, especially when you can move guys in and out there. And the truth is, the starters are set. You got Kobe Turner, you got Ford, who they got this offseason. Poona Ford, I think, is going to be incredible for this team. You got Braden Fisk, but you can never have enough depth. He's huge. He's 6'6". I think with the kind of scheme the Rams are running with Chris Schuler in that 3-4, I think if you can get some depth, a rotational guy at 201, I mean, that would be a nice pickup. Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Then 202, outside linebacker Ethan Downs out of Oklahoma. So, yeah, I mean, you look at where they're at from edge rushers, Jared Verse and Byron Young. Those are those guys. I mean, Jared Verse might go from winning Defensive Rookie of the Year to just Defensive Player of the Year. That's his ceiling. That's his upside. And then Byron Young, he's been excellent as well. And then Michael Hoyt's gone. Michael Hoyt, man, I'm going to miss Michael Hoyt. A guy, 300-pounder that out there playing edge, right? But they're going to need someone else at some point. So Downs is someone that, yeah, I mean, he's another guy that would fit really well in a 3-4 outside linebacker. You can stand him up. You can have him in a 2-point stance. I mean, he's someone that can go out there and rush the passer as well. So Ethan Downs out of Oklahoma. But, yeah, just kind of give you an idea of what they're doing. I mean, this is a really interesting draft where you take your quarterback later, your running back a little later. You kind of get the highest upside guys available. So that is the mock draft, a simulator there. And, yeah, no one of that group says, wow, this is a plug-and-play superstar right away. But I do think that if you would put together these type of pieces as far as this position group, then you would definitely consider a successful draft. And look at what people were saying about, no one was talking that much about Kobe Turner when he got drafted, right? No one was talking about, maybe other than myself, Puka Nacua when he got drafted, right? So you got to really trust that, one, this is an inexact science. There's always a lot of risk. No one truly knows how good these guys will fare at the next level. They're all lottery tickets to a degree. But the Rams just have had this instinct, this gut instinct about players and their ability to evaluate that just bared fruit, that's paid dividends. And that's why I'm so excited about this upcoming draft. It's like, who are those players that we didn't even mention once that they end up drafting that end up having an impact on this team? I'm just looking at all these guys, trying to kind of link them to this Rams team as far as kind of their fit from a culture standpoint, from a fit standpoint, a need standpoint. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a nice haul for the Rams because this will be kind of like the draft three-peat for the Rams if they hit on another draft, because 2 years in a row, you just really changed the direction of your franchise because of how well you've hit in the draft. But coming up next, a hilarious story from Puka Nacua. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by our friends over at Chewy. You've probably heard of Chewy. They really do have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Whether you're shopping for food, treats, or even pet health care, Chewy makes it fast, easy, and affordable. With over 100,000 products from all your favorite brands, Chewy has everything your pet needs, from food and treats to toys, beds, and grooming. And it's not just for dogs and cats. They've got supplies for birds, fish, reptiles, and small pets too. Chewy also makes it easy to manage your pet's health with prescriptions, telehealth, vet visits, and even in-person vet clinics rolling out nationwide. AutoShip is a game changer. You can set up an automatic delivery for food, treats, or any essentials so you never run out. You can easily change or cancel it at any time. I got 2 dogs. I got 2 Yorkies, one named Kobe, one named Bunny, and I've used Chewy for all kinds of things. I think the auto ship is huge. You set the automatic deliveries and you never run out. Pee pads, everything that you need, food, you can do it there. And it just makes managing pets a lot easier, especially if you're really, really busy. So you never want to run out of those essentials, and you have easy access to vet care, and everything is delivered to your door. So I'm a big fan of Chewy, and Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com or clicking on the link in the description. Save $20 off your first order with free shipping by clicking the link in the description. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Okay, here in the third segment, we're talking some Puka Nacua. By the way, Puka did say that he was looking to change his number last season. He's now 12. Gave that 17 to Devontae Adams, but apparently wanted to change last year. So there's that update. But we are talking about his Instagram handle because many have wondered why his Instagram handle is Puka is dead. Well, Puka Nacua was on the Games with Names podcast with Julian Edelman, and he talked about it, and he gave the origin story. He said, funny story, my mom, maybe my 8th grade year, didn't know I had made an Instagram. I make an Instagram, and it's like, I don't know, something random, but it's not this. And my mom finds my Instagram and changes it, and she made it Puka is dead to let me know I was in trouble. I've never changed it after that because that's too funny. Just like how it's spelled, I-Z-D-E-D. That's exactly how she did it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is hilarious, Mom. Now, every time kids are always like, Puka is dead. And I'm like, that's me, man. So yeah, that is why he got that name, the Puka is dead Instagram handle. I love the fact that he never changed it. Him and his mom, they're super close. They're BFFs. And yeah, it's not your normal Instagram handle, but that's his. I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, if you haven't, go to his Instagram. He did post a new picture of him in that Rams 12 jersey. I think this is going to be a top 10 selling jersey. I really do. The white one, the blue one. He put the caption on there about the new jersey. He said, carrying on the Nacua legacy, the 12 not only represents me on the football field, but all of my brothers and the sacrifices that my family have made before me to be able to wear this jersey at this moment. I know when I put on that 12, it's a piece of armor that's representing my family and always protecting me. For all those 17s out there, I appreciate your support and have things in the works to show you all love. So interesting. I don't know, he's got jersey insurance or something like that. I don't know what the heck that's about. It's pretty interesting right there. But the truth of the matter is Puka Nacua has really formed this bond with Rams fans. He's the biggest star we've seen in a while as far as his ability to go on podcasts. I mean, he's really made his rounds this offseason, from going on a podcast to say that he wants to retire after 10 years, that he wants to have 5+ kids, and being at Lakers games the way he is. So it's really cool to have, I think, like a young star for the Rams that, I mean, the Puka Doncic nickname definitely hits different now that Luka Doncic is a Laker. But I think it's really cool to just have that, a player that has this star power at this age, and he's just got this great connection with the fans. And there's a reason why we love Puka Nacua. We love him because he's all smiles. The vibes are always at a 10, and there's stories like this. Puka is dead. I love that. I'm going to change my handle to DMAC is dead. That's what I'm going to do. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.